All right, hello, hello, hello. I'm back, and Tesla has been going through the ringer a little bit. So I came back to do some videos here. As you can see, I got the cyber semi truck here, and finally being delivered. Excited about that. But I wanted to make this video kind of refuting some points that, and not even really refuting, just adding to the things that that Jeremy has been saying from financial education. And let me start off by saying we're going to watch some of his video right now. And I love Jeremy. He's helped me so much. He's taught me so much about investing. And I've only been on this little financial journey for a little short period of time. And the times sometimes I haven't listened to him and I regretted it. Sometimes I have listened to him and regretted it. But either way, he's given me a lot of information. However, I spend a lot of time on Tesla. About 90% of my portfolio is in Tesla. And I've watched him do video after video after video over the last 2 weeks. And he has, it's funny because his process is he's very worried about demand, and he's worried about 2023 and the recession and how the sales are going to go. And that's what I want to talk about. Overall, though, we're both long-term Tesla investors. So I actually hope he is correct and that we have a bad year and the stock stays down, but I don't see it. And here's why. So let me do this. Let me share my screen. I'm going to go through his video, just a portion of one of his videos. He's been saying the same things in a couple of videos. I've been responding saying, you're leaving out some key points, but he still hasn't addressed them. So I'm going to address them here. And if this gets back to him, Jeremy, thank you for all your help. If you actually watch this video, if not, still thank you for all your help. All right, so here he is. All right, so let's watch a little bit about Jeremy and what his thoughts are about Tesla.
So stock down another 6% plus here today. Stock's down 54% year to date. It's been obviously, a tough one to be a Tesla shareholder this year. And I think it's been a really tough year to be a Tesla shareholder for a lot of folks, not just because the stock's down 54%, but because this company has had amazing numbers the whole dang year. I mean, you look at quarter after quarter after quarter, they were extraordinary numbers this company put up in terms of revenue numbers, margin numbers, EPS numbers, everything. It was extraordinary. And after a year of great numbers for Tesla, what do we have to show for it? A negative 54% move in the stock price after all those great quarters and after all those great numbers, right?
So let me stop there because I'm in 100% agreement there. It has been very frustrating because, and what you really have to remember is Tesla, in the stock market in the short term, you've heard it before, is let me make myself a little bigger here. In the short term is a voting machine, and in the long term is a weighing machine. And Tesla, just to kind of reiterate what Jeremy was just saying, look at these quarters. Okay, so automotive revenues, all right? So Q3 of 2021, these are in millions. So this is $12 billion, $15 billion, $16 billion, $14 billion in revenue in Q2 of 2022, and their biggest plant in Shanghai was shut down for an entire month. So one third of the actual quarter, their biggest plant, they only have like Fremont, which is their smallest plant, Shanghai, and I don't know, are cars even coming out of Gigafactory in Nevada anymore? Austin and Berlin maybe a little bit, but not a lot. So and then Q3, you can see, look, we're up to 18. So the revenue, crazy. Margins have come down a little, but they've come down because they're ramping Berlin and Austin. But these are like crazy margins, like normal cars. Overall, the automotive market, I think I actually looked it up here somewhere. There's Kramer. We'll talk about him in a minute. I might have gotten rid of it. I got a lot of stuff in here in this video for you. I'm going to go through all these. I don't know where I put it, but the margins of a typical car company are, they're usually 7, 8%, 9%. These are 30, 27, 20, 32% margins, and these are only going to get higher as time goes on. So, free cash flow. Look at the cash flow coming in. This is 1.3 billion in this quarter, 2.7 billion, 2.2. Again, 620 because that's Q2. That was the one where they're down. And then this last quarter, 3.2 billion added in cash. You talk about their EPS numbers here. All right. So look at going up, earnings per share. So exactly what Jeremy's saying here is it's been very frustrating because the company has been off the charts delivering. And for all the people who are like, well, Elon Musk and Twitter and, he's sidetracked. Those people are not looking at this. Like, look at what the company is doing. So whatever Elon Musk is doing, it would be different if Tesla was falling apart. The only falling, I dare you to find a metric on here where they're doing bad. I mean, their solar deployments are up, their energy deployments are up, so everything is going up and doing great. Look at the supercharging stations and connectors, that's going up. They're doing more everywhere. So I don't know how he's distracted. And then we'll see what Q4 looks like. But let me get back to Jeremy and continue on here. Make myself smaller. All right, go ahead, Jeremy.
In record quarter after record quarter, and what we have to show for it is Tesla shareholders are negative 54% this year. Okay, now in terms of a more recent problem here, okay, Tesla's reportedly planning to cut production at its plant in Shanghai by 20% amid the lower demand for Model 3 and Model Y in China. News outlets including Reuters and Bloomberg stated people with knowledge of Tesla's plans to scale back production, but the EV maker has officially denied the claims, calling them untrue and labeling them as false news, without adding further explanation. A cut in production would be the first time that Tesla willingly scaled back production of one of its plants. Tesla reportedly delivered 100,000 EVs in November, according to its China Passenger Car Association. So here we are. We reportedly have these, these folks of knowledge of Tesla's plans coming out in kind of leaking news here that Tesla's planning on scaling back production, but the company, saying it's false news. So we don't know what to believe there. It's an up in the air situation. Okay.
So let's talk about that. It is not an up in the air situation. Tesla denied it. These sources of people who supposedly know Tesla's plans were they have no clue who these sources are. We have no clue where this information came from. And we do have an idea as we're getting into the end of the year, it'd be nice to, people need to make their bonuses. So the short interest on Tesla has gone up over the last month. And noticeably, all of a sudden, these articles or this news has been floated out saying, oh, they're cutting production. Why? What reason would Tesla have to cut production? It's trying to paint the narrative that there's not enough demand and people don't want the cars, and therefore they're cutting production. Tesla has a goal of getting to 20 million cars by 2030 in sales. They are ramping to Gigafactory Austin and Berlin as we speak, as fast as they possibly can. They've bought Tesla bought half of a nickel mine in order to get more batteries and determine all this stuff. So why would they be cutting production? Again, well, there's low demand. Well, no, there really isn't, as you're going to see in a little bit. So they're going to cut production by 20% out of nowhere after just having a record November. So it makes zero sense for this to happen. But I can give you another reason why it might happen. And let's listen to Kramer here, who, Jeremy loves Kramer. And here's just a little piece on him talking about, why a story would come out that Tesla denies. Tesla said, why would we do that? Doesn't make any sense for us to do that. And even after Tesla, people are still, Tesla's never cut production ever. They've done nothing but try to increase production. And now this from sources is more viable than what actually Tesla is saying that it's doing. So let's see if Kramer has an answer as to why this story would have been out.
These actions.
So you're talking about the mechanics of the market.
The cash is much more important than the fundamentals.
Oh, okay. Well, but in terms of the fundamentals, you've been writing about how you
think about the fundamentals. Research in Motion just blew out the court,
right?
But look what people can do. I mean, that's a fabulous thing. The great thing about the market is it has nothing to do with the actual stocks.
Right.
Now, look, over maybe 2 weeks from now, the buyers will come to their senses and realize that everything that they heard was a lie. But then again, Fannie Mae lied about their earnings for $6 billion. So
Right,
you know,
and
there's
Bristol
just,
Myers
it's
lied,
just fiction
yeah.
and fiction and fiction. And I think it's important for people to recognize that the way that the market really works is to have that nexus of hit the brokerage houses with a series of orders that can push it down, then leak it to the press, and then get it on CNBC. That's also very important. And then you have a kind of a vicious cycle down.
Right.
And it's a pretty good game. And it can be played, it can pay for a % or two.
Right, and then do you get long before Macworld and the expectation that the
Because
phone
you
is
keep
going to be
driving
good,
down.
right? And then you go back, flip to the long
Something
side.
that was the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what happens in the short run. This is what, so, I mean, did he just not describe exactly what's happening to Tesla? They're shorting and shorting it more. They're driving it down. It's a bet. It's a down cycle. And they're driving down, they're floating out news stories that are just completely false. You know, just, oh, somebody said, a source close to the company said that China is lowering production to create some FUD. And then they push it down and it causes a cycle of down. With Tesla. And guess what all these people are doing? You know, I just saw Chicken Genius jumped in and bought some shares. Is they're all going to buy and they're all going to go on up because the retail investors, everyone right now is scared. And oh my goodness, the stock's going down, stock's going down, stock's going down. We need to, Elon's messing up. Elon's not running the company right. Elon's doing this wrong. We need other people on the board of directors. And it's all just nonsense. It's all just short-term fear, uncertainty, and doubt to drive the price down. And if you're smart, you'll understand the time to buy is now. All right, let's go back to Jeremy.
Let's call it that. But it's not like it's impossible to imagine, right? The upward trend of Tesla shipments is clearly undeniable, but Bloomberg reports there are a number of signs indicating Tesla is making more cars than it can sell. The first are price cuts of up to 9% for some models in Shanghai. Then there are additional buying incentives like insurance subsidies from Tesla. The company is also reinstating user referrals for more discounts. And the last sign is a shorter delivery time for buyers domestically produced Model 3 and Model Y. Yeah, I mean, those are hard things to, even as a Tesla bull, right? Those are hard things to deny.
I mean, you don't have to deny them. It's not a matter of denying them. It's a matter of understanding why these things are going on. So understand there's a difference between what's going on in China and what's going on domestically in the US. In China, they're doing these things because what's going on in China, China actually, you'll see, I think he said it, I think in a couple of minutes ago, but China's EV market is at 30%. In America, new car sales, it's only 7% new cars, and it's growing. You know, actually, I have it right here. Is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? I forget. I got them all over the place. Nope. That one? Nope. I'll find it eventually. Cars. Okay, here we go. EV car sales increasing as far as market share. Now you see China is the yellow. China, by the way, is a lot of people in China. All right. So, you know, the largest, just so people, I don't think people really understand how many people are in China. The largest city in the United States is almost at 10 million people. It's New York City, right? China has, if I'm correct, anywhere between 8 to 10 cities over 10 million people. And I think they have 4 cities that are over 15 million people. So they have a lot more people. Okay. They have 1 billion people. I think it's 1.2 billion in China. We have 300 million in America. All right. So, and they are adopting EV. Look at the EV adoption. Now look at the United States. Now see, look at Europe, like as what's going on, and look at the United States. We're still very slow. We buy a lot of trucks. Talking about Cybertruck coming, right? Oh man, I'm gonna have to make this video a couple parts. So what's going on in China? Why there's this huge market, there's a whole buildup. Well, what's going on in China is there are a lot of EV companies that are selling cars to gain market share, but at a loss. NIO, Ling, Li Auto, Xpeng, you know, all of them are selling cars at losses. So people are buying them, but that's just not a winning. You can't keep doing that, you know, for any extended period of time. The only car company that really is selling at a profit in China is BYD. And BYD is doing pretty well. I'm actually, you know, impressed by them. They're the only real competition that Tesla has, but they're not. But what people have to understand is the competition isn't between BYD and Tesla, or it's the market is at 30%. Wait till it gets to 60%, 70%, 100%. So the growth is still there because as more people, even if the entire amount of cars people buy shrinks, the EV part is growing, and therefore the competition is not really that big of a deal, you know? So no, Tesla is competing with a lot of car companies that are selling cars super low, but they know they just got to beat them out. So what are they doing? So they're putting some incentives out there, insurance, and so a couple of you know, subsidies, you know, and price cuts. Now, let's talk about domestically, Model 3 and Model Y. And actually, no, let me not talk about it. Let me let Jeremy go a little bit longer. And I'm going to talk about the one thing that Jeremy refuses to say. He has not said it in one Tesla video yet, and I don't know why. I don't know if he's willfully ignorant of this. He's got to know it exists when he was talking about Tesla, but we'll talk about that in a minute here. So let me let him keep going.
At the end of the day, those are factual based things, right? And if Tesla really had incredible demand, we know what Tesla does when they have incredible demand. They don't have all these extra incentives and they don't drop price and things like that. Like at the end of the day, Tesla's a corporation, just like all other corporations. They want top dollar for their products. They start doing.
Yep, they weren't really dropping price. By the way, in China, they raised prices because the backlog was on because of the shutdown in Shanghai, and they had a long backlog because they couldn't make cars. They had COVID, the COVID zero policy, so they raised prices to slow down, and then they lowered prices right back to where it was before they raised it. It wasn't like they dropped them significantly below that. They dropped them literally right back down to what they did before the shutdown. But let me keep going.
Doing all these incentives and discounts and things like that when obviously businesses is in a struggling place, right? Of course, these indicative signs alone don't mean that Tesla indeed has a demand problem. But when taken together with the increased pressure that Tesla is now seeing from rival EV makers in China, the rumors start to sound at least a bit more plausible than Tesla is making them out to be. Okay.
And that's exactly it. What are they trying to do? FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's this, the rumors could potentially have a potential of being potentially bad. And no. Okay. So now I think I'm going to get to the part where I want to point out something that Jeremy is missing big time.
And I think that's just one problem. Because here's a bigger problem I see, okay? You know, China is an important market. Asia in general is a super important market. But you know what else is a super important market? The United States. And the huge backlog Tesla had going into 2022 is not there for 2023. And now at this point in time, if you want a Model 3, you got a Model 3 right away at this point in time. So clearly there's no backlog in the United States of America for Model 3 anymore. And Model Y, if we went back a year ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, the demand for Model Y was so insane that, you had a, dream of being able to get a Model Y in like 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now. It's not like that anymore. You want a Model Y, you get a Model Y now. So which clearly shows that the backlog is gone now. And Tesla's basically counting on new orders coming in to fund any sort of growth, right? And it's a 180-degree difference of where Tesla's at going into 2023 versus 2022. Going into 2022, crazy big backlog. Going into 2023, backlog is not there at all. Okay, Model S Plaid, which is one of my vehicles. Look at, you can get it right now. There's no problem to get a Plaid. They'd be happy to sell.
All right, so I'll wrap up with this point. Okay, so Jeremy's talking about the backlog is gone. Well, let's talk about why the backlog is gone. Because of something called the IRA, all right, which is the Inflation Reduction Act that was put in place that is taking effect in 2023. All right, so in 2023, I've clicked on this a couple times, right? Here we go. This is battery cells. But in 2023, more about battery cells. I don't want to go into that right now. I did pull this up. I'll pull this up. I'll talk about this in a second. But in 2023, what's happening is they are going to be, there's going to be a $7,500 tax credit that people get for ordering a Tesla, all right? And for any EV car, but there's certain qualifications. They have to be made in America and all this stuff. Well, Tesla's all the qualifications are going to be there for Tesla to get the $7,500. So so what happened is, so if you're somebody, let's say you were on the waiting list in November or October, or when this bill passed back in August, And you know that if you wait till January, then all of a sudden you're going to be able to get the car $7,500 cheaper. Would you try to get it right away? No. Tesla is now putting in place like all these things, all these rules, and that you can't, that if you get out of line, then you're going to the back of line, or you have to take delivery. If you're in line, take delivery of the car right away. You know, this is why up here, you'll see, I just pulled this up, you know, you get delivery in 2022 and they're giving you a $37.50 credit. You know, Tesla's giving you the credit. Why are they doing that? Because the demand is low? No, they're doing it because they understand that people are going to say, well, I'm just going to wait until January 1st, and then I'm going to get a $7,500 tax credit off of the price of the car. So this is why there is no backlog right now, because everyone is waiting for next year, because this is a big deal. It's $7,500, but look at the car price. You know, what is it, 40,000 it says here, but I think that's probably with potential savings, right? So what is the purchase price? So 46.9 for Tesla. So $7,500 off brings it into like 39,000, 39.4, 39.5. So this is not luxury. This is not something and I'll do another video, but on this, like, you know, Jeremy has this big thing about how, you know, that we're going to big recession. People aren't going to have money. Car sales are going to drop off the map. This is going to hurt Tesla, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that on another video. But what I do want to say is that this is really important. This $7,500. And by the way, this isn't like the old tax credit. Understand, all EVs other than GM have been getting the old tax credit because they never sold 200,000 cars. Tesla has been in a disadvantage with no tax credit for like the last 2 years, maybe almost 3 years now, that you haven't gotten. They've still been selling everything and had a backlog, right? So now they don't have a backlog because, again, people are going to wait until next year. Let's see what happens in January when orders go through the roof again. And as far as this goes, Tesla, all this is going to go right to the bottom line. Tesla's not going to lower their prices. They're going to keep their prices right where they are because, again, the backlog is going to come up, and they don't want that demand to build up. And so $7,500. Let's say they sell 500,000 cars next year domestically, right? If they don't lower the prices at all, which they might lower the prices, they have crazy margins. But that's another $3.5 billion of them going $3.5 billion just without anything else. $3.5 billion just coming from the government. It should be called the Inflation. It's not even the Inflation Reduction Act. It should be like the, you know, Help Tesla Make More Money Act, because it's not there for Tesla, but it's going to make Tesla so much money. This IRA coming, and the great thing about the tax credit, it's kind of cool. In 2023. The old tax credit, the way it used to work, is you would have to buy the car and then wait until you did your taxes. So if you bought the car in January, you would have to wait until, let's say in 2023, you would have to wait in the old program till you did your taxes in 2024 to recoup that tax credit. That's not the way this new tax credit works. It comes right off the price of the car. So now your price will be $39,000 for the Tesla, for the Model 3, or, you know, if you're doing the Model Y, you take $7,500 off. That's not a small amount. And then in 2024, you're going to be able to use that $7,500 as a down payment. You can actually use that as the down payment for the car. You can't do it. I'm pretty sure you can't do it in 2023, but in 2024, you'll be able to do that. So this is why, and I don't know why he refuses to talk about the IRA. This is one of the reasons why Tesla is going to make a big amount of money, and that's just on the cars. Not to mention, and we'll do another video about this, about all the battery stuff, the energy storage, all that money that's coming from, and I'm just going to tease it here. Okay, people don't, you know, right now, energy is such a small part of Tesla's business that people are not taking it, they're not taking it seriously. But you got to remember, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, three and a half years ago, Tesla wasn't making money on car sales. Now all of a sudden they are. Remember, it's a whole thing about renewal. Oh, they're only making money because they're selling energy credits. They're not profitable in the cars. They might go out of business, right? And it was like, that was where Tesla was. But now they look at the Tesla cars, they see how much money they're making and the profits and the margins and everything, and they say, oh man, that's it. Look at the energy section. The energy sector is only 3%, 5% of the business. It's not that big of a deal. Well, the whole bit, look what happens in 3 years or 4 years. So all of this money, look at this is a storage. Let me get myself out of the way here as my thing squeaks out. Energy storage. Okay. Look at the battery. Look at this Q3. All right. See, one of the things the reason why energy couldn't grow for so long is because they were battery constrained at Tesla. They needed more batteries for cars. They couldn't make enough batteries. Now they have plenty, they have lots and lots of batteries. So now they're going to start selling more megawatts and power walls and all this stuff to people with, you know, I'm in the solar industry and it's very hard to get a power wall. It's very, people want them out the wazoo, but they just haven't had the batteries for them. Now watch what happens with energy storage as that helps if there's any demand issues in 2023. Okay, this video is way too long. Hopefully you got some good nuggets out of this. I have nothing to promote. I just felt like talking about this. And again, Jeremy, I love you. Please talk about the IRA, and because it really is a big factor for 2023. And we'll see in January who's right. And all in all, I hope Tesla stock stays down because I'm buying with every spare cent that I came in, and I just started working even harder to make more money so I can dive in. Because without giving you financial advice, what I'm doing, you know, I'm dedicating almost half my paychecks to buying more Tesla stock, and I hope it stays as low as possible for as long as possible, because in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 2030, what do you think is going to happen to these charts? These things are just, we're in the infancy of Tesla. So we agree in that part. All right, talk to you all soon. Let me stop sharing.